Hey everyone, I'm back with another one of the Dark Souls Crossroads playthroughs. This time around I'm going to be doing the second bonfire, the Sunlight Altar. It seems as though each bonfire is going to end up being its own video, because each one, after editing down all the footage and stuff, each one seems to be taking roughly about 25 minutes, which is about the amount of time I was wanting per playthrough. So I think that's what's going to happen. If two bonfires end up being relatively short, then I'll just combine them both into one video if that situation occurs. But as you can see right here, the bonfire glitched out on me. I'm assuming it's something to do with the Hellkite dragon, but it's either as if there's an enemy nearby it, or as if, getting invaded while hollow. But I just figured I'd see how it played out. But something I wanted to mention, I see a lot of people commenting on my first Crossroads video saying that I missed the pinwheel bonfire. I know that was originally, it was intentional. My plan, I thought it'd be cool to just rush pinwheel, get the rite of kindling, which that is necessary. You do have to do that. But I didn't think it through. I didn't realize that I'm not going to be able to be invaded there. I just thought I'll go back, and whenever I do head towards Tomb of the Giants, then I'll invade there. But I'm not going to be able to be invaded there because I killed Pinwheel, because I'm smart like that. Okay, and something else I wanted to mention, referring to the rules of the playthrough. People have been asking about the invaders coming into your game and soft humanity and all that from enemies. There's no real way to avoid that. Someone had suggested anytime you get soft humanity from invaders or anything to just jump off the ledge, but if you did that, you you would literally only have 3 deaths in your own world the entire playthrough, and that's just a little too ridiculous. You get invaded 3 times throughout the whole playthrough and you lose just 3 matches in your own world and the playthrough ends. No, the way I'm doing it though is, if I get to the point to where, as you can see, just a quick note, that that guy sent me some messages and stuff saying he had seen my videos and everything. I thought at first that he wanted me to leave his game, so I almost did, because I don't know, sometimes I'm a pushover. But yeah, anyway, I'm not gonna be farming humanity from enemies. If I get to a point to where I'm at a bonfire, I'm out of my 3 itemized humanity, and I can't reverse hollow, I'm considering the playthrough done. Like, I lost it. So that's how I'm doing it. If you're trying to do this playthrough, I suggest not worrying about farming. If you get soft humanity from enemies and stuff, then that's fine. You can't really prevent that. But yeah, I'm just gonna use soft humanity not to kindle bonfires. The only way to kindle bonfires is getting humanity from invasions. But I'm gonna be using soft humanity from people invading my game, and if it just so happens I get some from enemies in my own game, I'm going to be using that to reverse hollow and to build up for the Chaos Blade, which I believe I'd started using at this point. Yeah, that's the Chaos Blade. It's still not 10 humanity, but it's still, even at 5 humanity, stronger than the Iato. So that's why I switched to it. But also, someone had mentioned, like, why don't I do this playthrough as in full Dark Wraith gear and stuff. I wanted this playthrough to kind of be like the quote unquote journey to becoming a Dark Wraith, like like to where you're just trying to reach that point, and then at the end of the game you finally get the Dark Wraith gear, and you can you put it on to go and beat the game with. I don't know. I thought it was a cool little spin on it. Plus, you're not limited to specific armor. You can use whatever you want. Alright, and something else I was wanting to discuss for a while now. I see it all over my channel, and it's to be expected, considering the content of most of my videos. But there are people constantly arguing with each other about, like, I see some comments like, I can't stand invaders who complain about being ganked, and just everything like that. People referring to the quote-unquote code of honor and why should they be forced to take part in it, and everything. Just to make things clear, I'm not. The reason I fight gankers is because, for me, it's a rush, and the reason why I have so many videos about it. Is that even a siren? What the hell? That was ridiculous. Okay, yeah, I apologize about it. I don't know why I decided I'm gonna leave that in the video, because that was the stupidest sounding siren I've ever heard, so whatever. Interruptions aside, as I was saying, I do a lot of gank hunting videos because I find it to be like extremely entertaining, and as well as a huge rush, like, to fight against. So, as you can see, I wasn't confident in that parry, so I bailed on it. This fight is actually extremely frustrating for me. Extremely frustrating. And anyone who noticed what I did there, I find if you miss a running attack and they go behind you, you know what they're about to do. They're about to try to backstab you, so turn around and parry. But the rest of this fight is just so unbelievably frustrating. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Yeah, I see people arguing back and forth about the whole ganker and code of honor topic. And whenever it comes to the quote-unquote code of honor, I'm not one to say I follow the code of honor. The reason why I duel and stuff, like whenever I do end up in duels, is because that's the only way to really display any kind of skill in this game, is to fight somebody one-on-one without healing. If you heal in a fair one-on-one duel, you know you already lost. But yeah, if all you do is gank people, like, you're proving absolutely nothing. I mean, you're absolutely entitled to it, because on the other hand, this is Dark Souls, so like anything goes. So invaders who are jumping into other people's games and stuff, and you're upset about being ganked and everything, you do have to understand that it's just how the game. I couldn't get away from that. It's just part of the game. You know, people are gonna gank, whatever. It is frustrating at times. Even I get frustrated with it at times. But yeah. So both people arguing. Both groups arguing back and forth. They're kind of both right in a way. Like, on one hand, no one's forcing you to follow any kind of code of honor. It's Dark Souls, you know, do whatever you want, anything goes. On the other hand, if you refuse to fight him and alone, by yourself, then you're absolutely proving no form of skill at all. Okay, and something else that I've mentioned it plenty of times before. I just feel the need to say it again. Anyone who's been arguing the topic of who actually is the gankers, the host or the invader, That's the stupidest argument I've ever heard. I'm sorry, but it's true. It depends on the player. Like I can't believe I'm even having to explain it. It depends on, it's player dependent. You know, both sides can gank. Invaders in the forest, they invade. You know, they can easily gank if they end up having at least if there ends up being two against one host. While on the other hand, hosts, they actually get a very bad rap because they can gank anywhere. Like invaders, it's very situational. They're never gonna go in there expecting to have a teammate. Actually, I find like 8 times out of 10, an invader is gonna be by themselves. So this poor guy, he invaded me 3 times. I feel like he's got to be rather new to the game. Uh, Especially the Drake sword right there and the little fireballs and stuff. This was probably a really mean thing to do, but I could not resist triggering that event. But yeah, I feel kind of bad about that. And then he sends me this message. Yeah, you can't really help but feel bad for that guy. He had to be new. He only had like 600 something HP. But yeah, back on topic. If something else I'd wanted to mention, if you invade someone who's obviously playing through the level, like say they're in Anne Orlando or whatever the case, they obviously seem as though they're trying just to beat Ornstein and Smo. They have summons with them. You can't expect them to stop and each individually duel you. That's absolutely absurd. Like I know that guy, he definitely one-upped me right there. But but yeah, you can't expect a duel from every invasion you go into. Like I know me personally, if I'm trying to get through a level and if I'm in the, for some reason I'm in a situation where like I'm running low on humanity, or I'm finally about to beat the level and someone shows up, no, like I'm not gonna just stop and duel, you know, fair duel and everything. If I'm in a situation where I don't want to lose because I'm having trouble with a particular part, because I'm actually playing the game, then you can't expect me to just fair duel. If I lose, I get sent all the way back. No. So any host who happens to be actually playing through the level, there's no reason to get upset with them for ganking. It's completely understandable. Whenever something I've been saying, whenever Dark Souls 2 releases, if I'm invading, especially if the to start out you have something similar to the cracked red eye orb, I'm not gonna be like the nicest guy in the world looking to duel. If I only have a limited number of invasions and I'm also attempting to get my character up, you know, get levels and stuff, I'm gonna be looking to make the most out of those invasions. Same thing goes for if you invade me in Dark Souls 2 and I'm finally about to beat a stage and you know you're just expecting a duel like right at the end of the stage. I can't promise that it's gonna be the nicest fight in the world. So yeah, you can't really blame people for not wanting to lose whenever you invade them while they're actually playing the level. This guy, his name is Master Cheat. I ran into him, I invaded him a few times, and you'll see why his name is Master Cheat in a moment. He does not hide it. Yeah, you gotta, as bad as he's cheating with the duped divine blessings and such, you gotta hand it to him for going for the R2s and having fun and everything instead of being full on try hard. But I mean, pretty try hard having the divine blessings and everything. But at least looking on the bright side, at least he's having fun with it. Yeah, all that talk about the gankers and everything, it's just something I felt that I had to try to clear up. I understand there's going to be arguments on the comment sections, and I can't prevent that, and that's fine. You know, people are going to argue. I had to make it clear that I fight gankers personally because I enjoy the rush of fighting multiple opponents at once. And me uploading videos is by no means me complaining about it. If I were complaining about it, I wouldn't be doing it. That's the thing. All I can really ask is that just try to understand where, just everyone try to understand where each other's coming from, you know. Try to keep the arguments to a minimum, because I see them all over all of my comment section now, which, you know, only so much can be done about that. It's gonna happen. But anyway, we can all agree, hopefully, that people who cheat are pretty terrible. Speaking of the devil, look at that. No damage backstab. So, yeah. People had asked me if during the playthrough, if you invade a hacker or modder or whatever you want to call it, do you leave? There's your answer. I will not leave if I invade a modder or a hacker or whatever you call it. I will not leave. I will try to kill them by knocking them off a ledge. And yes, I'm very clever, or at least I like to think I'm clever with that message. But yeah, no black crystling. Just you have to deal with whatever hand you're dealt. That's how the playthrough goes. As you can see, I invaded our friend Master Cheater, or Master's Cheat, or whatever his name is, Master Cheat, again. So I ended up invading both Infinite HP and Divine Blessing spammers in this playthrough alone. So you gotta handle whatever situation comes along and just hope it turns out for the best. People were worried about, in the comment sections I saw, people were worried about the playthrough not being hard enough, and I got to thinking, there's a good chance of losing everything whenever Anne Orlando comes along. If you get on the rafters or the archers and you lose your bloodstain, so you lose all the humanity, the soft humanity you had built up, you have to revive. Something goes wrong again, you have to revive with another one of your itemized humanities. Then there's also the bed of chaos. You're pretty much gonna need one of the itemized humanities saved strictly for the bed of chaos. Last two times I fought the bed of chaos, I managed to kill it on the first attempt, which that blew my mind. So hopefully I can do that this time around as well. But as you can see, I kindled the bonfire to max, so now finally I'm able to head through the level towards the gargoyles. As you can see, someone's about to invade me. I just, after dealing with the modders, or the modder and the divine blessing user and everything, I wasn't gonna risk it. I head straight to the gargoyles. But on a quick side note, if anyone, I saw comments about people asking when I live stream. Up until this point it's been just random times, but I do have a set schedule now, which I'll put in the description. I have a set schedule for my live streams. It's not always going to be a Dark Souls live stream. Just know that in advance. It could be, it's just whatever game I'm going to be playing. There will be a lot of Dark Souls though, and Demon Souls as well. So, if anyone just decides they want to watch a live stream, I'll have the link below, as well as my schedule. I recently did a Mercenaries run on stream, so that was actually pretty fun. It didn't turn out too bad. Like I was expecting massive failures and just trouble with the cat ring summoning me the whole time, but it really wasn't that bad of a run, which surprised me. The Mercenaries runs they seem to be very hit or miss. Like, amazing stuff can happen, or it could just be, you know, a typical playthrough. But that damage with the buffed hollows, that hurts so bad. During the other day while I was live streaming, these guys tore me up so much. Like, I don't know why I have so much trouble with PvE. I really should start practicing PvE more, as ridiculous as that sounds. Look at him running away. As ridiculous as that sounds, I'm just afraid of what's going to happen whenever Dark Souls 2 releases, and I'm dying left and right from PvE alone. So I need to brush up on my PvE. I'm too focused with PvP that I forget the timings of everything in PvE. So I'm going to be uploading episodes of the Crossroads playthrough every Sunday, as well as random clips as they occur throughout the week. But on that note, I'm going to leave y'all with the Gargoyles fight. I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and I'll see y'all next time.